After spending 20 years in prison for 2 murders he has always said he did not commit, a Jacksonville man today was granted a new trial. Dennis Perry is serving 2 life sentences for the murders of a couple who were shot to death inside a small Camden County church in 1985. The judge wrote in his order that the state had no physical evidence connecting Perry to the crime scene and that new DNA evidence, a hair found in glasses believed to be the killer's, that may indicate another suspect may have been present at the crime scene. The court says that evidence may have changed the original verdict.